Dr. Cutter with the Chainsaw Hospital, and today we're going to be doing part 4 for Mr. Campbell, our Homelite XL-12. Well, not ours, but for Kevin. And here we go. So we're going to go ahead and a couple of updates on the clutch. I actually didn't do anything to the clutch. It just started working the way it should work. So that's kind of nice. It's functioning. No problem at all. I went ahead and put this bar pad plate, the guide plate, back in place, and this muffler here is one that I had from an old saw of mine. It's actually a parts wagon. I forgot I had it, but I did go scrounging and I found it, and there's the cover that's on there. And the reason I've got the cover off is actually because this standoff right here has a broken off bolt inside of it, so I'm going to need to get that bolt out. And this is the bolt that actually goes into it for the other stud right here. Oops. So, but either way, it's off for now. We don't really need it to get our bar and chain done, which is what we are going to be doing today. So, I've got the old, crusty, disgusting bar and chain that came off of this thing. And the chain, I don't think I'm going to be able to use. It's in pretty rough shape. Maybe, I mean, the nose there, it got way dry. You can see how it's just maintaining its shape. I want this to be really nice when they get it back, or at least, you know, the best I can make it. So what we might end up doing, it's in rough shape. So what we might end up doing is, if I don't have a 16-inch chain, we'll end up making one out of a longer chain for Kevin, to put on Mr. Campbell. And so if we do that, that'll be great. But first, before we do anything like that, we've got our hard nose bar, right? This looks pretty new, actually. But we've got a little bit of a ridge kind of built up on here. And I'm going to clean out the rails. I'm going to use the chainsaw curette. Here's one right here. If you are interested in a chainsaw curette, that's what it looks like. And it has the hard and soft writing on there. And so this does lots of things. I've got a video actually about this already out there, so yeah, let me know. Shoot me an email if you are interested in a chainsaw curette. I would love to get one out for you to try out. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and grind down the lips that are on here. In fact, the chainsaw curette does a great job showing you that there is actually a lip, and on this side there is no lip, so the curette slides right off of it. So that's obvious. There's a problem right there. So we need to get that cleaned off, and we're gonna, like I said, clean the grooves out. We're gonna check the oil holes, which the curette does that too, and scrape off all this extra gunk that has built up on here. So just like that, really easy, is what the curette was made to do. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to get you in here a little bit closer, and we'll get Mr. Campbell out of the way, which is right here on trauma 1. And let's see here. Yeah, so let's get you in a little closer and we'll get started. So let's get Mr. Campbell out of the way and get this bar in here where we can get started on this thing. So we've got our curette. This is a used one that's all scratched up, but they're all the same. Anyways, we're just going to use our hook to excavate. Oh man, look at all that gunk that's in there. It's just completely dried up. But the curette is up for the job. And that stuff is in there tight. There we go. Finally getting some headway now. What is in there? Well, at least the bar is just as dirty as the saw was, so that's nice, I guess. But there we go. Golly, what is in this thing? Either way, all right. So we got all that cleaned out, at least on this side. Now we're going to flip it over and do this side. Perfect. Yeah, this side was really bad. So that's what the hook does for the chainsaw curette. a pretty good demonstration of how strong that hook is, because I am not really cutting it any slack. And I have absolutely, and that's the other part of this hook, it cleans out the oil hole too. Oh, that was all crunchy and dried in there. There we go. That's what it was. Oh, there was a stick shoved down in there. That's what I kept fighting with. I could not get that thing out. There we go. Much better. Oh yeah, got it now. Go check down there again. I'm going to go around the nose, this hard nose. One more swipe down through there. There we go. Oh yeah. Alright, so we got that now. Let's go ahead and make sure we got all that cleaned off. So that's good, and like I said, now we need to go ahead and check for a groove or a lip. And there's definitely one on this side right here. Oh, and right here. So yeah, all 4 rails corners are going to need to be knocked back to clean that up. Let's go grab the grinder and we'll do that. We got our Milwaukee M12 sander polisher with a 60 grit, I believe, on there. Maybe an 80. I don't know, something around in there. But here we go. We're going to go ahead and grind on this a little bit. And what I'm going to do is go right along this edge all the way down on all 4 sides. Alright, well that looks pretty good. And another nice feature of the chainsaw curette is to actually take and lay it on your bar rails, and your bar rails, you know, you should show it is perpendicular. If it's like this, your bar rails are way at a square, and what I'm doing is just, you know, laying it on here like that and laying it sideways. These look great. This bar was practically new, it seems like, when it was parked. So not much paint missing. I only had just a little bit of a lip, and that could have been lack of oil because it's a manual oiler and people forget to pump the oiler while it's going. So let's get some of this dirt cleaned up here, and we'll go ahead and see if we can find a chain to put on to Mr. Campbell. So just a quick look on the bar here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I've got, looks like a 60 AT D196. And I'm gonna say this is a 60 driver 16 inch. It's just what it looks like. And it's a 3/8 50 gauge, which we can measure with our chain and see, or measure the chain, but nonetheless I'm pretty certain it's 50 gauge. But I've got a gently used 3/8 60 driver here that I have sharpened up and gotten ready, and should provide adequate service for them. Oh yeah, and the 50 gauge fits in there just right, not too tight, not too loose, and it looks like the driver count is going to be perfect for getting around our, usually if you have 3, 1 2 3 and 1 2 3 right after the tail here, you're pretty good on your chain length, and you can make them work usually from there. So that's a nice way to check that out. So this is ready to go on. So let's go ahead and flip this thing around where I can see it, and possibly you guys can too if we do it like this. And like I said, the clutch, I'm feeling pretty good about the clutch rotating around there. Go ahead and get our bar in place, and I usually just put the bar on first, but I know you guys like to see this stuff, so let's get that on there and then pull everything forward while we get this chain into the groove. There we go. Alright, looks like we might need to loosen up. Oh, and the chain is on backwards, of course. Alright, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just flip this around like that. Man, that chain is sharp. It just split my glove. So, it's okay. We got more gloves. So, let's see if we can get Get this on there. There we go. Just flipped it, you know, top to bottom, whatever. Wasn't really paying attention. Like I said, I normally put the bar on first, but for you guys, here we go. So we're going to loosen up our chain adjuster a little bit. And that'll pop right on there. So you can see all that's lined up perfectly. And then we've got our other guide plate. And that goes on with this wide part here, right here, facing the rear. So just like that. Let's see if I can show you guys that a little bit better. Just like that. And then we've got our side cover here, all cleaned up, missing most of the paint, as I suspected. That goes in place. And then we've got our nuts, our bar nuts. And these are 5/8. Got my 5/8 socket here, and what we'll do is we'll hold up on the handle here and tension with our flat bladed screwdriver until the chain just touches the bottom of the bar. When I had it up like that, that's how it was. But let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. This might stretch a little bit, I don't know. But we can always retension it, right? So let's go ahead and crank this down a little bit. Just like that. I went ahead and put this little side cover on the muffler, and I'll go ahead and get the bolt that goes into this one stud. That way we can go ahead and run this with the muffler on there. But there's the chain installed and everything. Everything's a little tight. Like I said, the way the clutch was acting was just gummy, and I'm hoping it kind of loosens itself up. There we go. This bar is all cruddy too, but there we go. Everything is working well now, well enough, and looks like we loosened our chain up a little bit, which is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to run it around a few times. So we can go ahead and loosen this up and retension it and be good to go. So let's put our nose back on the table and turn it until the chain just barely touches the bar, and then retighten down our nuts. Yeah, we're gonna need a little run time on this thing to try to get everything loosened up, but we are together. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that bolt in the muffler cover here, and we're gonna take this thing outside and fire it up. Oh, we're gonna put a little more gas in here, and I got to put a little bit of bar oil in here, and looks like that cap is broken, so I might need to get a new cap for it, because that'll probably leak all over the place. Yeah, see how that snapped off? I don't think that would make much pressure on that gasket, but I have another cap, and we'll definitely keep our eye out for another one, and that way we can fix that too. So all right, well, let's go ahead, we'll get some oil in here, we'll get that new cap, we'll get this bolt put on here, and let's go outside. All right, so I've got Mr. Campbell here, and I already got the XL-12 started up, but let me show you how to start this thing real quick. So we've got the on-off switch here. We want to flip that up, and then you would set your high idle by pulling the trigger and then pushing this pin in, and then you pull your choke out, pull it until it starts, and then push the choke in, leave the high idle on, pull it, and it should start in a couple of pulls. So that's what I did, and got it up and running. So what we're going to do now, I've got this piece of cherry right here, and I'm going to make a few test cuts, and we should be able to get this thing restarted with one pull. It's been doing really well. So let's see if we get this thing fired up, and then I'll get you in here a little closer and we can watch this in action. Alright guys, well that wraps it up for Mr. Campbell and this XL-12 here, and I am absolutely thrilled that it is running as well as it is, and cuts well too, and very, very happy with that. So I know Kevin will be happy too, so that's pretty cool, right? He'll get his grandfather's saw back, so that's awesome. Either way guys, so thank you so much for watching and following along with these rebuilds and getting these things going, and I really appreciate you being here. So remember, keep your chain sharp and stay safe.